This is where the fun begins.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We are back today with better audio and quieter background music. As always, I'm Adam or Adam Bricks, and in today's video we're going to be ranking all UCS LEGO Star Wars sets that they've ever released. Now, I didn't include any UCS in my other rankings because I don't think it's fair to compare them with standard sets. I mean, I've probably mentioned that before in my other videos, so with that being said, this will be my personal opinion on these sets. If you guys agree with them, make sure to let me know in the comments you do, or if you disagree with them, let me know what you guys would have changed. I'm going to be going from worst to best as always, and with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Now, for the worst UCS LEGO Star Wars set that they've ever released, I'm going to go with the original X-Wing from 2000. Now, this set in last place for obvious reasons. First of all, the box art for the set is extremely misleading, just like my next pick. I'm sure you guys can guess what it is. The colors displayed on the box art are completely different than the actual build. Besides that, the design is okay for the time. I think LEGO did the best that they could with the resources available. My next choice has a similar issue with the last one, which is the TIE Interceptor that go alongside the X-Wing. Now, it holds the same issue as I just mentioned with the X-Wing in that the colors displayed on the box art are not the same as the actual build. It's very strange. I don't know why they were doing this back in 2000. Anyways, on the box, it looks as if the set was accurate to the movies with the gray and black coloring. However, when you actually built up the set, it was the old blue they used to use for the TIE fighters. The build is fine for the time. It's nothing special. It gets the job done, and it comes in the second last place. Continuing with the ranking, we have the Assault on Hoth from 2016, and as many of you probably already know, this set has received a lot of backlash, as it is not a standard UCS set by any means. It's a bunch of small little builds, albeit inaccurate builds at that. I mean, look at the shield generator. We don't even need to get into that. And it doesn't really have any display ability like the other UCS sets on this list. The only reason this set is higher than the other two is because the coloring was accurate for the set. That's pretty much it. I mean, the Hoth thing, I just can't even get started with the generator. It looks absolutely terrible. Everything's white. It's pretty hard to mess that up with the coloring, but yeah, this is more of a play set. I don't understand how it got approved as a UCS set, but anyways, Bricklink has it listed as a UCS set. Next up is the infamous Yoda set from 2002, and I think this guy looks pretty bad. I think the set speaks for itself. It looks really ghastly. It looks sort of like an animatronic from Five Nights at Freddy's. It looks really odd. I mean, even for 2002, you look at the Darth Maul set, which is coming up next, actually, and it just looks so much better. I don't know what they were thinking with this Yoda set. It looks like his eyes are staring into your soul. It just doesn't look right. It feels like he's going to come out of that and kill you. Besides that, I think the set is a bit too blocky, showing way too many studs, and it's just a little weird for the time. Moving on is the Darth Maul bust that came out a year prior to the Yoda, and this one's actually better even though it's a year older, so it doesn't really make any sense. Anyways, this one's not too bad, especially for 2001. This is a sought-after collector's piece. It's very expensive nowadays. I think that LEGO really encapsulated Darth Maul to the best of their ability, given the resources that they had at the time. So it's actually a pretty solid set in my opinion. I don't really have too much gripe with this one. I don't really much to say. It's a decent set. Had a few flaws for the time, but it's okay. Next up, into the potential surprise to many, is the R2-D2 from the 2012 line. The set looks good in my opinion, and I don't really have any gripes with it. I just think that the sets above it are a lot better. This one's pretty average. I don't really mind it. I like R2. He's a cool character from the series, but it's just a bit boring, a bit lackluster, and he comes in a lower placing for that. The 2023 X-Wing UCS set is my next pick, and similar to my previous choice, this may shock a few people. Now, I'm not a fan of this design. I actually really like the 2013 version. I think it's significantly better. This version just feels a lot bigger in certain areas, like the engine, for example, than it really needs to be. I think they got the coloring for the X-Wing down pretty well. I mean, that's kind of what you expect here in 2023, but anyways, I'm just not really sold on this set, especially for it being released in 2023. It's okay. It's nothing special. I don't hate the set. I think it's a good design, but there's much better to come. Next up is the Death Star set released back in 2008. I was never really an enjoyer of calling this a UCS set, nor the newer one, but they're considered UCS sets, and they're listed that way everywhere. Now, I think this as a playset, I think it works really well, but not as a UCS. It is not a traditional UCS set in my eyes. The design is really nice. It has a lot of playability. The stickers they use for the hallway where Han Solo is looks really good. The trash compactor is probably my favorite part of this, and they managed to fit in a lot of fun builds in this set. It's an overall solid design, but there's much better to come. The Rebel Snowspeeder, released way back in 2003, was one of the earliest UCS sets, and I do think this design was pretty good for the time. The major downside with this one is obviously that it didn't include any minifigures, and the blue box is a little weird, although it doesn't really have anything to do with my ranking. I just wanted to point that out. The design is good. It displays the set well for 2003. I don't really have much to say about this one. Vader's TIE Advance is up next, and this one's absolutely beautiful. I think from now on the sets are going to be pretty decent. I should have kind of categorized this as a mid-tier, but these are kind of, like I said, these are kind of the mid-tier sets. I think they're pretty solid. They don't have too many downsides, but anyways, Vader's TIE Advance is a pretty good set. They finally got the colors right for TIE Fighters, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I love the black and gray upgrade to the set. It looks fantastic. The piece for the cockpit looks really great. I'm not really sure if it's a printed piece or a sticker, as I don't have this set, but based off of the way it looks, I think it's a printed piece. Regardless, it looks really good. It ties the build together really well. It's a sleek, compact design and displays the ship really well. Then we have the Death Star remake from the 2016 line, and I really do like this set. As for the last Death Star, I don't think these work really well as UCS sets rather than a play set. There's a lot going on in this build. There's a lot of playability. There's a little TIE Advance that comes along with this, just like our last one. Obviously, it's scaled down quite a bit, but I still think it looks pretty good. It gets the job done. You get a bunch of awesome minifigures to go along with the Death Star. I think the highlight for me personally is the level where Han Solo and Luke try and break out Leia. It looks excellent. I think it's the best part of this besides the trash compactor. It's overall a really solid set, and I don't really have much negative today about it. Next up, I've chosen the UCS General Grievous from the 2008 line. God bless that line. I absolutely loved it. And besides the odd pieces they use to build as lightsabers, which, I mean, come on, I think people have pointed this out before. It looks very strange. I think the set's flawless for the time, and it's actually a pretty underrated set. I don't hear too many people holding this one in high regard, but I really like it. I'm going to put it around the middle. Like I said, this is kind of the tier where things are pretty decent. They're pretty solid. Not really too many gripes. Like I said, besides those lightsabers, I think it's really good. I also really like the way they designed his heart. It looks really accurate, and his legs are also a big highlight. They're very menacing, very good set, and it comes in this place. Taking my next pick is the A-Wing model from the 2020 line, and by the way, guys, 2020 was 3 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but
what?
We're in 2023 now. It's 3 years later. That's insane. This represents the ship really well. It was a little disappointing on the minifig side of things. You only get one Rebel pilot, which is fine. I guess I don't really know what else you would have put in this. Maybe like a Lando minifigure. I don't know. But anyways, I think the overall design for this thing really makes up for it. It's a good set. It's really solid. Just a very mid-tier set. The Luke's land speeder from last year is next. And aside the memes about how many Luke's land speeders we get, which I agree with, I'm going to say that this UCS version is really nice. I really do like it. It's by far the best Luke's land speeder they've ever created. It's probably one of the more iconic ships from A New Hope, I would say. It's a really sleek model. The minifig scale it's not there, but it still gets the job done. You get the idea. It's very accurate to the film. I really like the design for the engines, and it's just a really solid set overall. Next up is the updated Snowspeeder from the 2017 line, and while I wasn't a big fan of this wave of the sets, I definitely think this one stood out. For me, this one is a diamond in the rough. It displays the ship in perfect manner and has a great minifigure lineup. I also love the newer stands that they've been using for the UCS models. I don't know when they introduced them, but I really like them. That's just kind of more of a side note. That doesn't really affect the build for me, but regardless, I think this set's beautiful and it has to come in this place. The Ewok Village set from 2013 was a great way to complement an amazing wave of LEGO Star Wars. I think the 2013 wave, by the way, guys, is probably one of my favorites besides 2005. So this one was definitely one of LEGO's best from the year. It really topped off the year. It's very simple. It's literally just the Ewok Village with all of our favorite characters from the movies. It makes for an excellent playset. There's a lot going on here. You can recreate a lot of great scenes from Return of the Jedi, and it's an excellent set overall. The next set I've chosen is Obi-Wan Starfighter from 2010. I know a lot of people don't really like Attack of the Clones, and I get it, but the ship was a really cool piece from the film. It's featured in the iconic chase scene between Jango Fett and Obi-Wan, and I think LEGO did a great job creating the design for this set. It's really accurate. It looks really good. I always love the coloring in this one. It's beautiful. It's such a good design, and I actually think this one's kind of underappreciated, similar to the A-Wing. The 10174 ATST from the amazing 2006 line is up next, and I really do like this build. Like my previous entry, I think this set is really underappreciated. I don't really see people talk about this one either too much. It didn't come with any minifigures, but the build itself actually looks terrific. I know it's kind of hard to mess up an ATST, but I think for the time, LEGO did a really good job at creating an ATST in UCS form. It's exactly what you'd expect the ATST to look like in LEGO. It nails the menacing look, and I think it's a great set. 2015 TIE Fighter was my next choice for this, and it is a absolutely beautiful set. I always love the way the TIE Fighter looks and sounds. I mean, that's an iconic sound from Star Wars. LEGO does a great job here representing the famous ship. The set is full of detail. It has a crispy looking cockpit and looks even more menacing the more I stare at this thing. It comes with a pilot minifigure, which is nice. It's nothing really special, but it's overall a really solid set. The B-Wing set, or 10227 from 2012, encapsulated the ship really well in my opinion. I don't think that the set gets enough love, and I'm guessing it's because it's not a particularly popular ship from the Star Wars trilogy, but nevertheless, it looks fantastic and definitely deserves its place among the best UCS sets. Moving along, we have the X-Wing model from 2013, and obviously, as I mentioned before, this wave is fantastic. I think this is by far the best design for an X-Wing LEGO's ever produced. It's sleek, it's accurate, it's crisp, it gets the job done, it's color accurate wise, it's highly regarded set throughout the community. Now, I think the design for the engines is the highlight for me, and the cockpit piece, as I mentioned before, in a lot of sets, I really like that when they put extra detail into it, so I really like this one. It's a really good set, and it belongs in this position. Some people may be shocked to hear I've put the UCS Naboo Starfighter this high, but hear me out. It has silver pieces. Come on, guys. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. They've never done this ever again. I don't know why they haven't created Padme's ship she had, and I don't know if it was Phantom Menace. I don't know why they haven't recreated that ship with the silver piecing, but regardless, this set's beautiful. I know it doesn't have any minifigures, but it's a really sought after piece. The design was great for the time, and if you want this thing brand new, you're going to be paying upwards of $1,000 brand new. The infamous Sandcrawler takes the next spot on my list, and I think we were all drooling over this set when it first got leaked. I mean, I think there's only one time before the set that there was a Sandcrawler. I think it was 2005, that amazing 2005 Revenge of the Sith line. But this is obviously a huge upgrade, not only because it was made in UCS form, but it's incredibly accurate, not a mess of colors like that 2005 one, even though I do really like that set. Let's be honest, guys, there's a bunch of random colors on there, and it just looks really weird. Now, you get a bunch of minifigures, most of them being droids, albeit if you count those, but that's kind of the point of the set. It's a stunning build, it moves really well, it's a cult classic, and many people would probably pick this as their favorite UCS set of all time. The 10134 Y-Wing Starfighter doesn't get enough love, and so I'm here to spread it with you guys today. This set is phenomenal, and I think the version of the ship is the best that LEGO's ever released. The box art is also amazing, and again, like I said before, I know it doesn't really affect anything necessarily, but I just wanted to point that out that I really liked it. The overall design of the ship is great, it's accurate, it matches everything that the Y-Wing represents in the films, and it's a great set. I had to have the classic Tantive 4 this high, you guys can't blame me. This is an oldie, but this set holds up really well to this day and was an absolute massive set for the time. It looks really good despite being an older set, and it represents the first ship we see in Star Wars really well. It's a great set, and I wish I had it in my collection. The UCS Y-Wing from 2018 is my next pick, and it is such a good set. It's definitely the best version of the Y-Wing that LEGO has ever released, and it really nails the design. I think I said the previous Y-Wing was the best, but this one's the best. I think the engines are the highlight for me. I always liked the way it looked on the ship. I think it's the focal point of the Y-Wing for sure, and I think they displayed it really well. Behemoth, that is the 2011 Super Star Destroyer, takes the next spot, and I absolutely love the detail that goes into the ship. The kind of middle section that they have to display the scale of the ship is absolutely amazing. There's so much detail in there, and you really get to understand the mass of the ship when they put a Super Star Destroyer mini build on the side, kind of to match the scale of the set. So you really get an idea of how big this thing is. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't think the design for it is anything special, but it is a really stellar set. I really do like this one. The minifigure selection is okay, it's nothing special, but yeah, it's just a really good set overall. Now, I love the Mandalorian TV show, so when I heard LEGO was going to be doing a UCS version of the Razor Crest, you can imagine my excitement. And LEGO didn't fail to deliver on this one, let's be honest. This is one of the most accurate UCS models of all time. The design for the ship is so accurate, in fact, that I really don't notice that it's LEGO at this point, honestly. It doesn't bear any studs, really. And to the point where it's kind of hard to tell it's LEGO, like I said. The minifigure selection is also great, and in my opinion, it has some cooler, smaller builds for to complement the minifigures. It's a fantastic set and one of the greatest UCS sets ever, in my opinion. AT-AT Walker from 2021 is a beautiful set and is absolutely massive. Not only is this set minifigure scale, but it completely encapsulates what the AT-AT should look like with its menacing design. The only issue that I have with this set is that it doesn't come with enough snowtroopers to really fill out that true size of the ship. I know they had that snowtrooper battle pack, but you shouldn't really have to buy another set to fill it out. It just seems a little weird to me, but anyway, small gripe. I think besides that, the set is nearly flawless and has to be this high up the list. My personal favorite ships from all of Star Wars is the Republic gunship, and I finally got to see it in a UCS rendition in 2021, and I can tell you guys, and I think many of you are going to agree with me here, I think LEGO really delivered on this one. If you're a prequel fan like myself, you'll really appreciate this set and its amazing design. LEGO really pulled off an exquisite design for this one. I really couldn't have asked for a better Republic gunship, and this set will go down as one of my personal favorites ever. The UCS Slave One from 2015 is undoubtedly one of the greatest LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. To start, the box art for the set is perfect, the build is flawless, and by far the best Slave One LEGO's ever released, and I don't even think it's close. Like the Razor Crest, when I look at this set, I forget it's LEGO because of how perfect the detailing was on it. It's really not showing any studs either, which is a really nice compliment to the set. The set also comes with the majestic Boba Fett minifigure, really to top it all off. Now, just missing out on my top 5 was the original Star Destroyer from back in 2002, and I think this set was way ahead of its time. For the tools LEGO had at the time and kind of the other sets, if you sort of compare the other sets from the time, I was shocked that they managed to put together such a great build, and this set actually aged really well in my opinion. Of course, it doesn't come with any minifigures like a lot of the original UCS sets, but I think the build itself makes up for that. Starting off our top 5 is the original UCS Falcon from 2008, I believe it was, and this has to be one of the most sought after LEGO Star Wars sets for collectors, myself included. This is one of the most popular LEGO sets ever released, and for good reason. It's a brilliant design and perfectly displays what the most famous ship in all Star Wars would look like in LEGO form. The figure selection is perfect, and this is one of the all-time great sets. For my 4th spot, I've gone with the Imperial Landing Craft from 2010, and I think the set has aged really well, obviously, that's why it's so high up. This set is near perfect in my eyes and many others. I actually really enjoy looking at this set, the all-white menacing look and the way the wings fold up and down, it looks great. The set functions really well and is extremely stable. They nail the look of the set, and the minifigures are excellent. It's just a great set. It's an all-time classic, and it'll go down as one of the greatest LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. The bronze medal goes to the second Death Star from 2005, and for the year, this thing is way ahead of its time, similar to the Super Star Destroyer from 2002. I just think this set is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, looking at it, it's just gorgeous. I mean, look at this thing. The design for the build is really difficult because the Death Star 2 wasn't really complete, obviously, in the movies at the time, so it's a really unique set. We've never had another iteration of it. I'd love to see this with modern techniques, but for now, it's going to remain in 3rd place, and it's absolutely beautiful. 2nd place is the new Star Destroyer from 2019, and this set takes what the original version did and made it 10 times better. The set is absolutely massive and is a key piece for any collection. It's one of the first ships we see in Star Wars, and it is absolutely beautiful. LEGO crafted a flawless rendition for it, in my opinion. It doesn't often get much better than this for me. I think it's one of the best sets of all time, and it has to be 2nd place. To the shock of absolutely no one, number 1 is the UCS Millennium Falcon from 2017, possibly the most well-known LEGO set ever. The set's massive. It comes with a bunch of minifigures. The box art's perfect. The build is perfect. It's massive. This is by far the best UCS set they've ever released. It's incredibly accurate, and I think it'll be really hard to top this one. So that wraps up the ranking, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. This one took me a while, so make sure you leave a like and a subscription if you enjoyed it. I also wanted to give a big thank you to all my new subscribers. You guys are awesome, and all the likes in the last video really helped. I really do appreciate the support and the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed the audio a bit more than the last one. I tried to fix it for this one, so let me know in the comments if it sounds better. With all that being said, we will see you next week for a next episode, and have a great day.